If we were created, how was Hashem created? And why is he in charge? Let's use this as an example of how to think. Who created the Eibishter? What's the answer? Nobody. He wasn't created. Well, what does that mean? Everything is created. What does it mean he wasn't created?
He created creation.
And who created him?
There's no creation. He's not a creation.
Right. He is not a creation, so he was never created. Why? Why is he an exception?
He invented the idea of creation.
Huh?
It's going to be a continuous circle.
You're never going to understand why it's like that.
He's a different word. When he's creation, he's a different word. How does it come to be?
Right. Where did he come from?
Nowhere. Just there.
Where was he born? So here's how you're supposed to. What are you asking? Who created the Eibishter? What does created mean? What does that mean? What are you talking about? So everything was created. Who created the Eibishter? Right. Everything was created. What does that mean? This was created. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. What makes you so sure? Avram Avinu looked at the sun and said, "That's not God." How did he know?
Went down and up.
So what does that prove?
Hashem, it's not steady. It's not there always.
Limited.
Huh?
It doesn't last forever.
It doesn't last forever. So what does that prove?
Hashem.
Anything that doesn't last forever is that?
Huh?
Anything that doesn't last forever can't be God.
Why?
It was created, anything doesn't last forever, isn't it? It's something that was
If you're
created.
the person who created something that's limited, it has to be unlimited.
If you spell it out in English, if it's limited, then you have to ask the logical question, what is causing it to be limited? If the sun can shine only on half the planet at a time, who did this to him? If the sun could do whatever it wanted, why would it shine only on half the world? So you say, well, it can't shine on the whole world. Oh, it can't. What doesn't let him? What does it mean he can't? He can't means there's a stronger power that doesn't let him.
What if you just say he doesn't want to? Just wants to have?
Hang on. How do I know this table was created? I know it's created because if it wasn't created by somebody stronger, then it would be a much bigger table. It would be a chair also. Why would it be only a table? So something is not letting it be more than this. If something is stronger than this, then I'm not going to worship this. Let me worship the thing that's stronger.
So you would never felt anything stronger.
All right. So why do we say everything was created? Because we see everything has a limit. If it has a limit, somebody did this to you. Who did this to you? Now, the Eibishter has no limit. So what's your question? Who did this to you? So it's obvious that the Eibishter was not created. How is it obvious? He's everything. There's no stronger force that's limiting him in any way. That's why there can't be two Eibishters. Why can't there be two infinite, perfect, absolutely great Eibishters?
And how is there space for the other?
How is?
How is there? One of them has to have a limit for the other one.
Well, they both have to have a limit because they both have to end and the other one begins.
There's no room for both of them.
Right. So to have two means each one has to stop. One stops the other.
Why can't you just have two? Just two the entire time?
No. Eibishter means perfect, infinite. If you have two, they're both not perfect, they're both not infinite.
Why not?
How do we know?
Because one stops the other.
How are you gonna stop?
Because that's how you get two. This one stops, another one begins.
Why? You can have two things the entire time.
So fine, the Eibishter is two. He's 10, he's 100, he's 1,000,000. What's the difference? But ultimately, he's one Eibishter. Now, the truth is the Eibishter limited?
Obviously not. But
If he wants to be, he is.
Limits himself.
you can't.
Hmm?
He's not.
Can't-
Yeah.
Symptom.
He can't be limited.
If he can't make himself limited, that means
He's
he's
always
the most
unlimited, but he can
Ah?
be part of
If he can
himself.
make himself limited, that means he's the most unlimited that there could be.
That he's what?
If he can make himself limited, he's the most unlimited that
Right.
there possibly can be.
Right. Infinite means anything. So if he wants to be limited, he'll be limited. So now, why can't you say that the sun is limited because he wants to be?
So you don't see any way that it's unlimited.
Huh? Well, that would make sense if one time the sun was able to shine on both sides of the world. Then you can say, why doesn't it do it every day? It doesn't want to.
Maybe it can.
Maybe. That's not a good answer. The sun has never shined more than half the world. So, not only that, if it's true that the sun only shines on half the world because it wants to, then it is the Eibishter. Why are you calling it a sun? See what I'm saying? If you say, this table can be anything it wants, right now it wants to be a table. Oh, so it's the Eibishter. So why are you calling it a table?
Because that's what you're told. You're told it's called the sun. That's what it is.
If you take a Gashmizdika thing and you say this can do whatever it wants, that's Avodah Zarah. But if you say, Lamashal, the sun is really very, very smart, is that Avodah Zarah? No. Maybe the sun is smart. I don't know. Who cares? But as soon as you say the sun shines when it wants to, that's Avodah Zarah. Why? Because now you're calling it Eibishter. Because the Eibishter is whatever he wants to be. So, how do we know the Eibishter was not created? Because there's no symptoms. We know that something is created if it has a limit. Because then you have to ask, who did this to you? The Eibishter says the sun should shine during the day, not at night. Okay, so the Eibishter did this to the sun. Why is the moon smaller than the sun? The Eibishter did it. But when you're talking about something that doesn't have a limit, so what do you mean who created it? It doesn't look created. There are no symptoms of being created. So again, when you say created, you mean a stronger force is making you what you are. How do you know a stronger force is making you? Because if not, then you wouldn't be just you would be a lot more.
Before Chayt Tzedakah, there's no limit to people. So how do we know if you...
There was what?
No limit to people.
There is no limit to people.
Before Chayt Tzedakah.
Even now there's no limit.
I know, but you live forever.
You can live forever, but you're only a human being. No end to your age, but there's an end to your talents, there's an end to your size. So Adam was, let's say, 10 feet tall. Wasn't infinitely tall. So who did this to him? How tall was Adam? If dinosaurs were as big as they were, how big were people in those days? So the scientists and the silly, they show these pictures of a huge dinosaur and tiny little people with little spears trying to stick. Wait a minute. If the dinosaurs were that big, the people were also big. If the animals were not like animals of today, then human beings were also not like human beings of today. It's a silly picture. Okay. So asking what does created mean leads you to the answer. You ask the klutz kasha. Now, why is Hashem in charge? Why is he in charge? So it says in Tanya. Because if he doesn't remain in charge, the world doesn't know how to exist without him. Because it's Yesh Ma'ayin. So it would go back to being Ayin.